We're Team 107 from Holland Christian, and you're watching RoboZone. Hoorah!
Welcome back to State Champs, you guys. Appreciate your patronage, and if you've never seen high school robotics before, it's pretty cool. There is a vast swath of people all over the great state who are absolutely obsessed with it right now. Now, mostly those who are engaged in the competition that is Stronghold. This is a medieval battlefield where students' constructed robots play a combination of hoops and kill the carrier. This is State Champs RoboZone, and week 4 of the season was epic. We're going to talk about it with our experts. 4 districts were in play. We've got tons of action ahead, and we start with Marysville. The Marysville district, while not featuring many of the high-profile teams in the state, saw several teams raising their games and reaching for big scores. This event had the highest breach rate and the highest scale success rate of any event in the world so far this season. That's what I'm talking about. The best team coming out of qualification, Team Torque from Oxford High School. Given first pick in the selection process, they decided to form an alliance with the Thunder Chickens of Utica and a rookie team from Algonac. The number 1 seed looked like the squad to beat. In the quarterfinals, appeared to be an upset brewing early as the number 7 seeded Alliance went toe-to-toe with the 2nd seeded Alliance. The Galactic Invaders of Lapeer and their partners, the Blue Devils from Richmond, used their quick low goal scoring to weaken the tower before a last-second scale from the Blue Devils led them to capturing the tower and taking the first match. So with their backs against the wall, the 2nd seeded Alliance, led by Davison's House of Cards, responded with a big score. This time, it was their Alliance that got the late tower capture, and with the clock ticking down, House of Cards and the St. Clair County Mobotics both scaled the tower to pick up wins in Game 2 and 3 to move on to the semis. In the semifinals, Torque and the Thunder Chickens continued their run, mixing solid high goal shooting and low goal scoring to score several boulders and breeze into the finals with an average margin of victory of over 34 points. On the other side of the bracket, once again, the 2nd seeded Alliance found themselves down 1-0 to Alliance number 3 due to a technical issue for the Bearcats from Ubley in match 1. Back to full strength in the second match, the 2nd Alliance's offense was once again clicking. They scored another double hang to win match 2, then threw up another great performance to put themselves into the finals. The first match saw the Thunder Chickens score high and autonomous to take an early lead. Fighting through some solid defense from the Full Metal Muskrats, the 2nd seeded Alliance able to score 10 balls in the low goal, but in the process received 2 penalties that would give the 1st seeded Alliance 10 additional points. The 1st seeded Alliance able to use those points along with 5 high goals from the Thunder Chickens to put up 152 points. But it was not enough. The House of Cards completed their hang as time expired. Their Alliance captured the tower to win the match 155 to 152. So with a nail biter already in the books, second match looked to be another high-scoring affair. The 2nd seeded Alliance scored exactly 8 boulders in the low goal to hit the magic number and set up their Alliance for the tower capture. Once again, they pulled off a double hang, captured, and with that, Davison, St. Clair County, and Ubley win the Marysville District Championship. Well, all right, what an event we had at Marysville. To break it down, we welcome in one of our first robotics experts. Hey, everyone, it's Jim Zondak. Jim, how you doing?
Fantastic, Lauren.
All right, it's always good to have Jim here. He's a lead mentor for the Notre Dame Prep Killer Bees, one of the co-founders of First in Michigan, along with Dan Kimura. All right, now before we talk winners, Jim, this event set a new standard around the world for robotics competitions. With the highest breach rate and highest scale success rate of any event this season, that is amazing.
It really is, Lauren, and that came as a bit of a surprise. This wasn't going to be one of our highest ranked events in terms of the teams attending this year, but we set a few records for Stronghold this year in the 4th week at Marysville, so that was really great.
All right, thanks, Jim. Don't go too far because we still need to talk about Livonia.
Hey RoboZone fans, I'm Stephanie Funkhauser, and do not go anywhere. We have 3 more district champions to crown on this show, and we'll be back to show you who was able to claim victory in West Michigan and Livonia when State Champs RoboZone returns.
We want you. We are Lawrence Technological University, and we don't want just anyone.
We want the brainiacs, visionaries, geniuses, and game changers. We want the students who will change the world through technology, science, business, and design.
So if you're ready to explore your possibilities,
We want you at LTU.
Lawrence Tech, possible is everything.
Genius is not born. It's nurtured. It's curious. Genius takes teamwork, patience. It keeps going until that moment when it shines. Introducing the Generation Genius Project, a consumer's energy educational initiative to inspire a passion in science, technology, engineering, and math. Discover the genius in all of us.
Fundraising should be fresh, flavorful, and simple. We have the perfect solution at Hungry Howie's, Dough Raiser. Your nonprofit organization can sell paper pizza certificates that your customers can redeem for one medium pizza at participating Hungry Howie's locations. Go to doughraiser.com to learn about, sign up for, and order everything Dough Raiser. Request a Dough Raiser kit for your group today. Your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. Welcome to Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser.
Welcome back to State Champs RoboZone, where we bring you coverage from the world of high school robotics, the only varsity sport where every participant has a chance to turn pro. We are slammed with highlights this week, so let's get right back into it and head to Allendale for the West Michigan District Championship. The West Michigan event is the oldest of the state's districts, predating even the district system. It has in the past and continues to draw many of the top teams from the west side of the state. This year's lineup looks to be the strongest field at a district so far this year. In the qualification rounds, Built On Brains from Zeeland picked up where they left off after their win at Lakeview, going 12-0 and scoring the number 1 rank. 35-46 Bucking Gears from Grand Haven kept it close, grabbing the number 2 spot, only 1 point behind BOB. With such a deep talent pool, the top alliances formed some strong squads, and the chalk held through the quarterfinals. So we jump to the semis. The number 1 alliance would take the first match versus the 4th alliance, but fall in the second. So, cue up the tiebreaker. The number 1 alliance would have a small lead going into the endgame, but number 4's East Grand Rapids is setting up for a hang, but they go too early. Robots are only allowed to extend up for the hanging bar with 20 seconds or less, and as a result, 5980 is disabled and 5 penalty points added to the number 1 alliance. With that, the number 1 alliance survives with a 125-116 victory. The other semifinal would be a much higher scoring affair as the alliances prioritized offense over defense. Buoyed by Holland Christian's 7 high goal shots and 5 more in the low goal from Grand Haven and Saugatuck, the number 2 alliance won the Battle of Boulders en route to a 180-159 victory, with the 180 score being the highest of the event. The second match saw both alliances still committed to the all-out offensive strategy, the number 3 alliance able to score 50 points in autonomous mode. But again, the barrage of boulder scoring propelled the second alliance to another victory as they jettisoned the second highest scoring team. So, it would be number 1 versus number 2 in the finals. In the first match, Grand Haven helped grab the lead in autonomous, and the number 2 alliance didn't look back as they outscored number 1 on defense, boulder, tower challenge, and even penalty points. With Saugatuck dropping back and helping on defense, the number 2 alliance grabbed the 1-0 series lead with a 170-120 win. Finals match started out much closer as the number 1 alliance outscored number 2 in boulders 35-33. However, Whitehall seemed to have drivetrain issues, unable to cross as many defenses as usual. This resulted in the number 1 alliance failing to secure the 20-point defense bonus. The number 2 alliance would pounce on that opportunity, scoring enough low goals this time to take the tower. And Grand Haven, Saugatuck, and Holland Christian would win the match, completing an undefeated run throughout the tournament and grabbing the West Michigan District win.
We're so excited. This is our second year. This is only our 4th competition, and we've never made it past quarterfinals before. So we've only been in the playoffs or like this one time.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. This is our first win where we earned it as the captain. We've been picked before, but this is our my first win. As a team, we've done it before, but this is my first win as a captain, so I am super excited.
All right, to discuss what we just witnessed there, we welcome in our other FIRST robotics expert, two-time world champion. He's also a co-founder of FIRST, Dan Kimura. It's good to see you again, Dan.
Good to see you too.
You talk about heavy hitters, right? This event was chock full of teams in our top 25 list. Quite a showing by many of those squads.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody in our top 25 performed well here, and a few surprises came back as well.
Okay. We've seen some good defensive schemes so far this year, but this event seemed to prioritize offense and high scoring.
Yeah, we had a lot of 3 robots playing offense here. I think we had the highest number of high goals scored per match here. We had the highest average score here of all the events in Michigan so far. And I think teams are starting to get it figured out. So we had a lot of really good high goal shooters that have their robots working at the level they need them to work at.
Right, absolutely. All right, we're going to hear more from Dan in a minute, but next up, let's head to the east side of Michigan and the district championship at Livonia.
The Livonia district was an action-packed event as usual. Many of these teams hit in the field for their second time or even third already this year. That experience really started to show. After the qualifying rounds, our top-seeded leader was none other than the Bedford Express, our #1 Michigan team from 2015. In Alliance selection, Bedford chose Team Rush from Clarkston as their #1 pick. The top seeds held in the quarterfinals, except in the 4v5 match where the #5 alliance of the Livonia Warriors, Walled Lake Monsters, and Birmingham Automation Nation squeaked out a narrow 4-point win in match 2, 101-97. They advanced to the semifinals and a chance to face the #1 alliance. In semifinal match #1, the #1 alliance relied on their strategy of playing all 3 machines on offense. The Livonia Warriors and Automation Nation scored repeatedly in the low goal, but #1 held strong, and with the tower capture, this one came down to just 1 point, 132-131 in favor of the top seed. In match 2, both teams started scoring fast. Then disaster struck as 308 from Walled Lake flipped over while playing defense on Team Rush, taking them out of the match. With no defense against the strong #1 alliance, it was all over for #4, and Bedford Express, Rush, and Detroit Catholic Central advanced to the Livonia finals. The other semifinal was also a fight to the finish. In match 1, the Northville RoboStangs able to make 5 high goal shots, delivering a 1-0 advantage to the #3 alliance. In match 2, the #2 seed rallied back, playing through the blue defense and collecting the win. This one was going to a rubber match. In the deciding tilt, both alliances able to score on the low and high goals. With 60 seconds to go, it was a tie game, 80-80. As the clock ticked away, Saline High School sealing the deal and a 104-100 win in a trip to the district finals. As expected, all 6 robots playing offense from the start of the finals. The Shambots delivered ball after ball to Clarkston. Clarkston kept scoring the 5-pointers. Bedford Express scaled the tower in the final 10 seconds and secured the 1-0 advantage. Would they be able to close it out? Both teams maintained the same all-offense approach with similar results. 7 successful 5-point high shots by Rush and Bedford maintained the Red Alliance lead. Bedford scaled the tower again for the 15-point bonus, and last year's state champs claimed victory in Livonia. After second-place finishes by both Rush and Bedford, they finished in the winner's circle for the first time this year. Plus, the Novi Shambots bring home a blue banner at their first ever FRC tournament.
Our expectations were only trying to finish, actually. So we were just hoping to possibly make it into the past the elimination round and actually just get chosen by another team. We did not expect to make it to the finals in any way.
Every match at the end of the 20 seconds, we went to the tower to climb, and consistently doing that made us not lose any matches. There were a few matches where we were too close, but the climbing is really what sets us apart, and consistently doing that every match.
So to break this district action down for us, we welcome back to the desk our friend Jim Zadek. Jim, initial thoughts on Batman versus Superman? You hated it, right?
Batman.
I'm sorry, Livonia, what happened here?
Livonia, again, great tournament. We had a couple of our perennial powerhouses in the house. Team Rush and, of course, last year's state champion Team Bedford Express ended up at the top of the heat with Bedford undefeated in qualifying, coming out #1. Looks like they finally got their troubles with the robot that were plaguing them earlier in the season worked out. when we got to the finals, the number 1 alliance all the way through the series played no defense. They put 3 men on offense. They were using the Shambots, the third member of their alliance, as basically a ball shuttler.
Thank you, Jim. I have a feeling that this district result may influence your rankings coming up just a little later in the show, so stay tuned for that.
The highlights keep rolling on RoboZone as we head to our marquee event at Mason High School next. Plus, how will these new district winners affect the top 10 rankings of Jim and Dan? Find out when we return.
FANUC America is the #1 supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Our certified automation training prepares students for high-tech careers in advanced manufacturing. Manufacturers use automation to maximize productivity. That's why high-paying careers in advanced automation are in demand today. Our CERT program provides manufacturers and educators a STEM-based curriculum centered on robotics and automation training. Contact FANUC to learn more about our certified automation training programs.
The Association for Advancing Automation is the global advocate for the benefits of automating, improving efficiency, quality, safety, and speed. A3 specializes in robotics, machine vision, motion control, and motors, representing over 900 companies, providing market research, certification, conferences, and educational opportunities.
Robotics and automation, creating great careers today and for the future.
Visit a3automate.org to see how robotics and automation can transform the way you do business.
Okay, basketball superstar Stanley Johnson, if I make this shot, you owe me a $15 meal deal from Hungry Howie's.
How about a $10 meal deal?
Agreed. A $20 meal deal. Hit it!
Did it go in? You missed.
Order a meal deal online. Get a free Howie Brownie on any online order of $15 or more using coupon code SWEET1. Now that's an idea.
Hungry
Howie's!
Genius is not born. It's nurtured. It's curious. Genius takes teamwork, patience. It keeps going until that moment when it shines. Introducing the Generation Genius Project, a consumer's energy educational initiative to inspire a passion in science, technology, engineering, and math. Discover the genius in all of us.
We are back for our marquee matchup of the week, and it took place in the middle of the state at Mason High School. Teams from all over Michigan descended on the Lansing area. Let's see how it all went down. The Lansing district featured one previous winner and a few longtime Michigan teams making their debut in the state. Coming out of qualifying, the Chimeras from Lapeer able to claim the top spot over the Comets from Grand Rapids Forest Hills. The Chimeras decided to team up with the Corsairs from Waterford Mott, while the Comets chose the Robotarians from Coloma. Even with big talent at the top, the quarterfinals were among the most wild and unpredictable that we've seen in the state this year. In the first quarterfinal match, the number 8 seeded alliance of 3 sophomore teams, Jack Botics from Saginaw Arthur Hill, the Marauder Bots of Obed Elsie, and Owasso figured out how to play to their strengths and get the most out of their robots. Jack Botics blanketed the top-seeded robot scores, limiting them to just 3 boulders scored. Their partners had free reign to score at will, and that they did. This strategy worked for 2 games, and that was enough to send the Cinderella number 8 squad to the semifinals, along with the 2, 3, and 4 alliances. In semi number 1, number 8 grabbed the first match, while the 4 squad claimed match 2. In the deciding game, Jack Botics able to fight through the pick set by the 2 teams and continue to shut down scoring from Lapeer's strike zone. With time running out, number 8 needed to breach the portcullis and score only 2 more boulders to have a chance at winning. The Marauder Bots attempted to breach the defense, but approached at a bad angle, wound up with their wheels off the ground, unable to cross. That secured victory for strike zone and their partners, the Jacktown Vectors from Jackson and the Falconers from Otisville. On the other side of the bracket, the Comets and their partners, the Robotarians, made quick work for the 3rd-seeded alliance, winning 2-0 and setting the event high score of 177 points in one of their semifinal matches, which sent them into preparation for the district finale.
We're gonna win! We're definitely gonna win!
In match number 1, it was Alliance number 2, led by the Comets, securing a 4-point victory and that all-important 1-0 lead in the best of 3. But the Fours would not go quietly. In an offensive slugfest, they bounced back in match 2, beating the favorites at their own game and winning 154-142. So the Lansing finals would go to a tiebreaker. Both alliances came out matching shot for the first minute until the Jacktown Vectors were hung up by the moat. Strike Zone able to free them, but not without some issues for Jacktown, who appeared to lose the left side of the drive. Still, with the close match and time running down, the Robotarians and the Comets able to hit 2 clutch high shots to weaken the tower and capture it. This proved to be the difference as their alliance pulled off to victory, the first for each of the teams on their alliance this season.
We're Team 2959, the winners from the Lansing district, and you're watching RoboZone.
All right, what an event that was. We welcome back Dan Kimura and his game of solitaire here on our desk to give us thoughts on what happened at Mason. Dan, all right, the Chalk had been holding in the 3 districts before this one, but here we saw the number 8 seed get into the semifinals after upsetting a number 1, not to mention the number 4 alliance almost pulling off the win in the district finals.
Yeah, it was an exciting tournament, definitely an exciting tournament. The number 1 seed, 1684, the Chimeras, had a great showing at Kettering earlier and had some issues in the playoffs as well.
All right, well, the Comets from Grand Rapids Forest Hills competed in Indiana. Now back in Michigan, they find the winner's circle.
Yeah, and I think going to Indiana was a smart move for them. They got kind of a practice tournament out of the way before they came back to Michigan to play, where it counts. And they put together kind of a balanced alliance. They were probably the best robot on their alliance.
Thanks, Dan. Why don't you stay right there, because in just a moment, we're going to bring Jim back on stage, and you two will let the audience know how these districts have changed your top 10 list. But right now, let's go back to Stephanie.
Lawrence Technological University takes pride in providing its students with state-of-the-art equipment and experiences beyond the classroom. As part of the new Taubman building, robotics students will be able to achieve new heights with brand new labs and technology.
It's still the same concept where it's a Tinker Lab concept. The students actually come into the lab. We don't use a lot of kits or pre-built robots for them, but they build everything from scratch. They have personal CNC machines, 3D printers, and they can come in, do a CAD model of the robot and build their individual robots in the lab. So we really encourage them to build every component from scratch.
The importance of these labs, providing the practical component of LTU's outstanding education.
So the point of all these labs is to provide students with the practical experience they need to really hit the road running. And we really pride ourselves on, even though there are other places right now offering this degree, I think we're still very unique in the fact that every single robotics class has a practical component.
And building everything from scratch has given robotics students applicable experiences for their future jobs and careers.
We've already had a lot of compliments from a lot of our students who are getting internships in different companies about the quality of work that they do.
So the highlights are finished, the champions have been crowned, and now the new rankings for this week will be revealed. Who is the team to beat and who has made their debut into the top 10? Dan and Jim will explain their lists coming up next on RoboZone.
Your home for high school sports is Michigan's original high school sports show, State Champ. For over a decade, the multiple Emmy Award-winning State Champs covers all sports statewide, 40 weeks a year. Catch State Champs Sundays at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports Detroit and StateChampsNetwork.com.
We want you.
We are Lawrence Technological University, and we don't want just anyone.
We want the brainiacs, visionaries, geniuses, and game changers. We want the students who will change the world through technology, science, business, and design.
So if you're ready to explore your possibilities,
we want you at LTU.
Lawrence Tech. Possible is everything.
FANUC America is the #1 supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Our certified automation training prepares students for high-tech careers in advanced manufacturing. Manufacturers use automation to maximize productivity. That's why high-paying careers in advanced automation are in demand today. Our CERT program provides manufacturers and educators a STEM-based curriculum centered on robotics and automation training. Contact FANUC to learn more about our certified automation training programs.
Welcome back to State Champs RoboZone, your home for varsity high school robotics in the state of Michigan. I'm Lauren Plant, joined by Jim Zondag, Dan Kammer, and it's time for these two to defend their top 10. Guys, with 4 districts being played this past week, I know we have some changes, so Jim, take us through your list.
Well, my list changed a little bit, Lauren. I moved a couple of teams who had victories in their first showings this week back onto the top of my list. At the preseason, they were in my list. Team 27, moving them into the 4th position after their win this weekend. And then Team 107, after the big upset win out at West Michigan, I moved them into my number 5 position.
All right, so Jim, I see that Bedford Express has made their way back into your top 10. Do you see them as a state challenger threat again?
Yeah, I do. They've proven in the past that they really know how to rise to the challenge to fix mechanical issues and make improvements. They've got a great working hanging suspension device on their robot now.
All right, well, Dan, I know you like a lot of the West Michigan teams, right? You're a left coast guy. So with the state championship being in Grand Rapids, does that play a role at all?
I don't know if it plays too much of a role. It's nice to come from home, not stay in a hotel, a little bit more comfortable, but I think the teams are going to be able to perform pretty well wherever they play.
All right, so what do you got? What are your big shakeups?
I guess my West Coast bias for this week, I have 107 slightly ahead of 27, but still at 4 and 5. And I brought in a couple of teams that from the west side of the state. So I had 33-57, that's the Comets. I have them at number 10. And just ahead of them, actually, the team they beat is Strike Zone. Strike Zone, I think, was maybe the best robot on the field in the finals, but not the best alliance. Maybe they didn't play it the best.
All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so much. And RoboZone is hitting the road. Stephanie and I are at the Troy-Athens district. We'll see if we can give you a brief preview as to what the 1-hour very special state championship will be like. I'm even hoping that we can get both Dan and Jim inside an arena to show us some tricks on how to win. Plus, it's the start of our spring sports coverage. So we're back outside. We'll debut the 2nd annual High School Softball Player of the Year fan contest. All that and more next week on State Champs and State Champs RoboZone. State Champs and State Champs RoboZone is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Possible is everything. And First in Michigan, Michigan's premier provider of K-12 robotics programs. Also brought to you by FANUC America, the leading supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Sarah Chevrolet, the low payment people. Visit us at lowpayment.cars. Consumers Energy, encouraging your inner genius. The Association for Advancing Automation, promoting automation technologies and ideas that transform the way business is done. Meijer, your destination for sporting goods and equipment. And Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser, your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust.